Ryan was a young boy who had everything he ever wanted, except a kind heart. He loved collecting gold and spent all his time counting and admiring his treasure. He refused to share, even with those in need. His parents and friends often reminded him, "Ryan, wealth means nothing if you don't use it to help others." But he never listened. One day, as Ryan walked through the village, he saw an old man sitting by the roadside, frail and hungry. The man's clothes were tattered, and his eyes held a silent plea. "Please, young boy," the man said softly. "I haven't eaten in days. Could you spare a little food?" Ryan scoffed. "Why should I give you anything? I worked hard for what I have." He clutched his bag of gold tightly and walked away without a second thought. The old man sighed but said nothing, watching Ryan disappear into the distance. That night, Ryan went to bed feeling proud of his wealth, but his dreams took a terrifying turn. He found himself in a strange world where everything was made of gold. The trees, the rivers, even the sky shimmered with golden light. At first, Ryan was thrilled. He ran through the golden fields, laughing at his luck. "This is perfect! Gold everywhere!" he thought. But soon, his joy turned into horror. His stomach growled, and he reached for a golden apple from a tree, but it was hard and lifeless. The rivers were frozen in solid gold, no water to drink. He searched desperately for something, anything that wasn't gold. But there was nothing. No food, no water, no living creatures. Panicked, Ryan shouted for help, but his voice echoed in the empty golden wasteland. He saw people in the distance and ran to them, but when he reached out, they turned into statues of gold. He fell to his knees, realizing his mistake. "What's the point of all this gold if I can't even survive?" he cried. "I'd give it all away just to have a piece of bread and a sip of water." Suddenly, a familiar voice whispered in the wind, "Kindness is worth more than gold." Ryan woke up with a start, his heart pounding. The dream had felt so real. He looked around his room, his pile of gold still gleaming beside him. But for the first time, it no longer felt precious. Instead, it felt empty. The next morning, he hurried to the village and searched for the old man. Finding him in the same spot, Ryan knelt down and offered food, water, and even some of his gold. The old man smiled, his eyes filled with warmth. "You have learned the true value of wealth, my boy." From that day on, Ryan changed. He used his riches to help the needy, build homes, and feed the hungry. And in doing so, he discovered a joy that gold alone could never bring, the joy of giving. Moral of the story: true happiness comes not from hoarding wealth, but from sharing it with others.